Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Kuhn here from Paleo Primal Long Island and MikeTheCaveman.com. And for today's question, we're talking about the use of NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and what their effects can be and what can we do instead. Now, the problem is when you're taking these, generally you're experiencing some pain and some inflammation, right? So you're taking these pills to handle that pain. Yes, they bring down the inflammation and you feel great for a little bit. The problem is we're not dealing with what the root cause actually is. You're just dealing with the pain, you're putting a little band-aid over it. The biggest problem with these drugs is that they will actually cause more damage to the intestinal lining, alright? They are associated with intestinal permeability, leaky gut, which again allows bacteria and proteins to translocate, get through the membrane where they're not supposed to go into circulation, and actually cause more inflammation. So you're taking these NSAIDs, and over time, you're going to cause damage to that gut, which is going to allow more inflammation to happen. That's not what you want? No, exactly. What's happening is you're going to end up causing more inflammation down the road to deal with the little bit now. You're withdrawing on your savings over and over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, there's going to be nothing left in that bank. Alright, you'll have nothing left. So their use is going to lead to damage to that gut. What you're going to want to do is take things that will reduce that inflammation without necessarily turning down your immune response, your inflammatory response. So things like turmeric or curcumin, excellent choice, particularly with the piperine extract, ginger, so that's why I love Synchro Gold, that's all three in it. Things like the fibrenza, that will take care of inflammation like crazy, the bromelain in it. Alright, that's a couple of the other systemic enzymes. Those will help bring down inflammation. Other things that can help with inflammation are cayenne and peppermint and mint crystals, and depending on whether it's muscular or joint, you can go topically with DMSO. That's an excellent choice as well. One more thing is fish oil. Obviously, we talked about why the issue is that we have an overbalance of omega-6 to omega-3. Actually, that's part of the reason how NSAIDs work. They actually work by turning down the metabolism of arachidonic acid, which is an omega-6 fatty acid. It turns it down so that the inflammatory response isn't quite as strong. Because as we know, omega-6 fatty acids are the pro-inflammatory ones, whereas omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, and that's just a general rule. That's not a hard, fast rule. But that's pretty safe to say. So because of that, those NSAIDs, part of what they're doing is metabolizing that arachidonic acid to turn down that inflammation pathway. So by taking in less of those, and eating more omega-3, you're going to be able to balance that out a little bit. It's going to bring down inflammation by itself. Obviously, eating real foods, particularly ones that don't cause inflammation. Avoid the grains, avoid the legumes. If you tolerate dairy, great, choose the right types, not conventional. Don't eat conventionally raised animals. I say this every time, but it's super important. Short term, things like white willow bark. Depending on what kind of pain we're talking about, the ashwagandha we talked about yesterday is amazing as well. There's a whole bunch of different herbs that you can take. Now, be aware that if you decide to go that route, you don't want to necessarily be mixing and matching it with your pharmaceuticals. So if you're taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to take all the herbs along with it too. You need to work with somebody who's knowledgeable in that field. Okay? That being said, most of those aren't going to cause damage to your intestinal lining where the pharmaceutical ones will. So it's super important to think about what you're putting into your system. So, long and the short, you don't want to tear your gut up with those NSAIDs. You want to look at some alternatives. I gave some options in there. I can go into each one a little bit more in depth, but the idea is you want to do things that will bring down the inflammation but not tear you apart in the process. Alright guys, hopefully you like this video. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. You can find me over on Paleo Primal Long Island on Facebook, over on Twitter and Instagram at Mike the Caveman, and of course over on MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, take care guys.